Uh, Margina,
What,
I
man?
remember like a couple months ago you telling me about those knives and stuff. Is that really true?
Absolutely. You talking about when I told you about the night showing up at my mom's house?
Yes.
Oh God, Mike, let me tell you a story. It was some years ago. My son was young, and my brother started fighting all the time. They were just fighting. Now imagine your mama calling you crying because your brother's fighting. Nobody want to hear their mom cry, right?
Right.
So I rushed down there, and true enough, my brothers had flipped over the furniture. I was like, what in the world is going on? Of course, they were still 38 hot, and they was fussing. And my mom said, your brothers is fighting to kill themselves. But we could not understand. But anyway, uh, I talked to them, one out there on the porch, and the other was one in another room, the other one pacing over the kitchen. And I was like, what in the world's wrong with these guys? Well, anyway, they calmed down, and it wasn't about 2 weeks later, the fight broke out again. Honest God, they fought out again. My mother called me crying. She said, your brother's got him ready to fight. I don't know what I did. She's blaming herself for my brother's fighting. I'm like, what in the world is going on? So I go down there, and Richard is on the porch. And he's saying, sister, these knives are showing up at the house. I said, what knives? So he had found my mother's porch was kind of like this right here. So somebody could actually put something overhead there and you not know it was there, right? So the knives had been placed overhead because he had one of them in his hand. He said, these knives are showing up. I said, really? He's talking about, yes. I said, that is crazy. But anyway, I took the knife and threw it over there where the first one was found. So Richard still had the first one. So now there's two knives, and we neutralized the situation. When true enough, the third time, my mother called me. I'm back at the house again. I'm like, y'all is acting a fool. What is wrong with y'all? And Richard, he was really huffed up. The other boys is in the house. And just as Richard put his hand over the porch like this,
Mm-hmm.
he said, sister, look, another one of these damn knives. I said, and so now I have three of them. I said, give me this. I said, I'm not scared of this mess. I said, somebody's up to something. So I said, tell you what, Rich. Now, may I add, I already have the other two, because I had taken the other two. Let me go back. I had taken the other two to my house. So now I have a third knife. So what I do is, I said, give me this, Rich. Come on. Now, when you work in a salon, you get to know a lot of people. A lot of people have gifts and don't talk about it. Because,
Mm-hmm.
and rightfully so, because we're quick to judge people. You know how that is. You know, so that's ignorance. We don't know, so we labor it. Oh God, I don't know what's something wrong with that. So I went to the house and I grabbed the other two knives. And I knew this lady that used to come to my salon. She's a minister. And she used to share a lot of things with me when she would be in the shop. And so I decided I would ride over to her house. Now it's late in the afternoon, okay? It's getting late. And so now I have the three knives wrapped in a towel behind my seat. So Rich and he said, where are we going? I said, I want to go see this lady that I know about. I said, she's a minister. She's a beautiful person.
Mm-hmm.
So what I do, I'm going down the road. And all of a sudden, Richard looks at me and he says, I am mad enough to kill somebody. And I kind of glanced on the road because we were on Highway 90. And he put his hands up to his face and his eyes were blood red. He said, I am mad enough to kill somebody. So I'm looking, saying, this is not my brother. This is not my brother. I am looking at something else right now because I know Richard is not going to hurt me, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm looking at him, and all of a sudden, he looks at me. It's like he snapped back. He says, sister. It's like he yelled from deep down. He says, separate those knives. And he opened the car. He grabbed a handle of the door and jumped and just jumped out of the car going down Highway 90. So now,
Oh.
yeah. So now, yeah.
What is it? The knives?
Yeah, no, well, I don't know. Well, I'm trying to figure this thing out right now. He said, because that's the last thing he said. He said, separate the knives. So now, when somebody jump out of the car on a major highway, you got to first wrap your mind around it. He's like, now he just jumped out the car. Did he just jump out the car? And he jumped out the car. So what I do, I go down the road a little further and I turn into somebody's driveway. And I asked her if I could use her phone, and she was looking upside my head like, why are you here? And use the phone, but I was desperate. So I called a relative and told her what was going on. I said, you need to come get Rich. She's on the side of the road. I'm trying to get to somebody's house. And she didn't really ask any questions. She just came on. So I drove back to where he was. And he was in the grass on his knees. He was crying. And he said, sister, I can't get in the car with the knives. She said, you got to separate those knives. So I said, okay. So I took one and put over there behind the passenger, and I put another one in the trunk. So I separated the knives. But he said, I can't get in the car with them. I can't get in the car with them. I said, well, okay. So a few minutes later, my relative pulled up. And he said, he was crying. He said, why somebody want me to kill somebody? Why they want somebody to kill? Somebody wants me to commit murder. He was just upset. He was crying. So when his ride came, I left. It just said it got late, and I just didn't want to show up at her house because I had never been to her house before.
Mm-hmm.
So the next morning, I decided I'm going to pretend like I was in the area and go by her house. And that's what I did. And I went to her back door, and she was glad to see me, you know. And she says, Margie, what brings you out this way? I said, I was just riding. I got some, but I do have some I want you to take a look at. Now, by this time, I had wrapped all three knives separately, and then I wrapped them all in one big towel. She said, what is it? And she had her, looked like must have been mustard greens or something that was on the table.
Mm-hmm.
She was picking greens. And you just imagine a little southern town, a back porch. You go in, and she's sitting in the kitchen. And there was a space there for me to sit at. She kind of moved a couple things over the way, and we were just visiting. And she said, what is it? So I took the towel, and I shook the knife onto the table, and she moved back. She said, oh my God, Margie. She said, baby, she said, this is real bad. Yeah, this is evil. She said, somebody is trying to get murder committed in your family. I said, what? She said, yeah, somebody is trying to get murder committed in the family. I said, oh my God. I said, oh my God, my brother said something like that. She said, if you want me to, I can send it back to the person who sent it to you. She said, you can't sign for this type of. I said, oh no, ma'am, we're not going to do that. Because I was thinking in my mind, that makes me no better than the person that sent it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, I ended up wrapping the knives back up. She told me, she said, it's not good. You don't need to be riding around with that. So, and I'm just saying it because this stuff is happening right here on our nose. A lot of people don't speak on it. And I'm sharing it because I'm not taking it to the grave. I'm going to leave a lot of this stuff here. Now, so we visited for a while, but I left. But I wasn't pleased. So I say, I know somebody else, you know, because God has a way of putting people in my pathway that I can't explain it. I just meet sometimes most people call them strange people, and I call them gifted people. I said these people have got hidden gifts or secret gifts, and nobody really knows that they possess this type of energy. So I was riding, I was praying, I was talking to God. I said, God, I need to know what in the world is going on. I said, somebody is trying to hurt us for some reason. And it dawned on me that a guy I had met in the store, and he was actually a minister, and actually a good-looking, kind of fresh minister, as a matter of fact. But we visited for a while, and I talked to him off and on, and I decided that I'll see if I can't locate him. I kind of had an idea. He kind of told me where to stay, so I'm gonna ride over there and see him. And lucky for me, now take in mind, when God guides, He provides. Okay, if God guides, He gonna provide. He was out there burning trash, and I come down the driveway, and of course he's a single man for you because I kind of showed up. But anyway, he's talking about when I got out the car, I didn't take the towels out with me. The knives out. He said, Mariana, what you doing so far from home? I said, I was just riding. He said, yeah, you was just riding. He said, what you really got going on? I said, I got something I want you to look at. He said, well, what is it? So I go get the towels out of the towel out of the trunk. And I come over by the trash where he was burning. He had a stick in his hand where he was poking the trash. And I dropped him on the knife. He said, oh, no. So he hit him with the stick. He said, Mariana, this is not good. He said, this is not good. He said, somebody trying to get murder committed in your family. I said, really? He said, you don't need to ride with this. He said, you need to leave that here. Let me just get rid of this for you. I said because it's causing me some discomfort, and my mom is crying on him. He said, yeah, I can see this. He said, but let's leave this here. So we chatted for a while, and I left. And I want you guys to know that after that, the fighting stopped completely. My mother never called me again about those nights, about my brothers fighting. As a matter of fact, it wasn't long after that she closed the porch in. And I remember somebody had told me a long time ago, she said, you have to be careful. See, snakes don't bite you from across the street. So whoever was putting those knives there had to be comfortable putting them there in case somebody saw them on the porch. And that's a mystery to me today. Even though Richard is going on to be with the Lord, I often wonder about that. And I share this video to let you know that Satan is doing his thing. He's doing his job, And that's why it's so important that we stay before God because the energy is real. The demonic tactics are real. You got to keep in mind that Satan tried Jesus. So who are you? This is a fight that your finances can't help you with. Your association can't help you with. I don't care how big your muscles is. It can't help you with. This is called spiritual warfare. Now think how many of you right now are in battle right now. You're keeping it to yourself. But you know something ain't right. And I got to remember now, Satan knows who's for real and who playing, okay? He knows who's for real Christian and trying to get close to God and who those who paint a picture for the public. So I hope you guys take the meat, spit out bones. This actually happened, and just enjoy your journey. But just know principalities are real. Principalities are evil, and they're in full effect. So until the next video, you guys have a fantastic day, okay? And do share, like and share for me, okay? Thanks.